Good stuff. So I would like to just thank everyone today coming for the CodePath introduction to Eide Bailly. So a warm welcome there. I will start by saying I'm Rachel Schumacher. I'm a campus recruiter located out of our Fargo office. And so I will just give a little rundown on how today is going to go. A little bit of an agenda here while I do some housekeeping things. So how the panel will work, we will just do it Q&A style. We do have some questions already prepared, but if you would like to type any questions in the chat, we will definitely try to get to those. And throughout, I will do a little bit of an introduction on Eide Bailly, and then that will give us an option or give us the ability to introduce who's on our panel today. And then we'll jump right into the Q&A, and then we'll talk a little bit about open positions, and we will do a farewell. So like I said, we are with Eide Bailly, and Eide Bailly is a CPA and business advisory firm. We have over 40 offices in 15 states across the Midwest and Western United States, which offers our staff and partners the opportunity and ability to serve a variety of different industries, which is really exciting. Eide Bailly offers various technology consulting services that include, but are not limited to, cybersecurity, data analytics, NetSuite consulting, Sage consulting, Salesforce consulting, sales and development. And we have a panel of staff from Eide Bailly here that work in these different divisions of technology consulting. So I will let them introduce themselves now. And if you each just want to share your name, if you want to share which office you're located out of, maybe how long you've been with Eide Bailly, the department you work in. I'm listing off a lot of things here for you guys to remember, but and also which internship you will be representing. So each of them will be representing an internship that we have available for the spring or summer. And we can start with Noel.
Perfect. Thank you, Rachel. So my name is Noel Datko. I am a partner with Eide Bailly in the technology consulting practice. I work mostly with Salesforce. I've been with the firm for a little over 8 years now, and I am located in the Denver area. So my role is really focused on making sure that our clients have a fantastic experience with all of our CRM work that we do. And that includes integrations and other general business consulting that's associated with that. And I'm ultimately responsible for all of tech consulting internships here, at least being able to represent that on this call, and then anything that's Salesforce or integrations related. So I'll pass it to Hillary.
Thank you so much. Yep, my name is Hillary. I am based in the Salt Lake City office, and I've been with Eide Bailly for 4 years now. Absolutely love it. I work in our internal IT department. I'm an application developer, and we have 3 different branches. I think we're trying to bring in some interns for all 3. So we have an automation branch, we have a Salesforce branch, and then we have our general development branch as well. That's all I got. Ryan.
Hey, I'm Ryan Skousen. I've been with Eide Bailly about almost 6 years now. I started on the accounting side of things, became a CPA and did some tax seasons, and realized that was not the path for me, and had the opportunity to move over to our Salesforce team and do some Salesforce development for a while. But now I lead the RPA team, or robotic process automations team. So that's the internship that I will be representing for RPA and integrations. That's it for me.
Reeves, if you want to go next.
Great. Hi, I'm Reeves Westover. I'm located here in Orem, Utah. I have worked at Eide Bailly for about 1.5 years now, and I work in the data analytics department. So I'm here representing the data analytics spring-summer internship.
All right, I'm Courtney Ellis. I've been with Eide Bailly for a little bit over 1 year now. I am representing the Salesforce development internship, and that is my role in the firm. I work out of the Lehi, Utah office as well.
Yeah, now that we have introductions done, we can jump into our questions. And like I said, if you guys have any questions and you want to throw them in in the chat, we will definitely try to take a look at those and get them all answered. So if anyone wants to jump in on maybe like a day in your life based on the department you work in, maybe we'll just get 2 or 3 of you to let us know what does a day in your life in the department you work in look like?
I'll go first. I'm gonna give kind of a day in the life of an individual contributor, maybe at first, and then maybe talk about some of the other paths that are available. So starting out as an individual contributor, a day in the life is really hands-on with most of the internships that we do and that I've been involved in. It's really getting to work on projects, on actually being involved in client calls. You probably won't be leading projects, but you'll be very involved in the work that gets done, and have a really active role. You're not going to be running and getting coffee for anyone. You're just going to be in the weeds, getting real valuable experience. So a day in the life is really starting out with some team meetings, talking about tasks and things, and then just jumping into building cool solutions. On my team, we build automations for companies, and so we are reviewing processes and building out solutions to automate those business processes. As well, as you progress, we have a culture of trust here at Eide Bailly, where people get thrown in pretty quickly. If you have the desire to interface with clients and lead projects and be able to design solutions, we get you involved in that pretty quickly. And so it's here at Eide Bailly, we say that we're consultants first, and if you are a developer, your developers second. So we really are aimed at making sure that we are consulting clients and giving them the best solutions possible. So I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to that, but that's kind of a day in the life from my perspective.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I started out last year as an intern on the Salesforce development team. So the same position that you would go into if you were to apply and get hired. And at the end of my first week, I was doing a little bit of client work on a project. So it was very hands-on. There is a ramp up period, obviously, because you're learning some new technologies, but you definitely aren't ever kind of sitting on your hands, not doing any work. Like, you're busy from the get-go, which I really appreciated and really enjoyed, feeling like the work I was doing was appreciated and valued.
The one piece that I would add, and I would completely echo both what Courtney and Ryan have said, is I love that we're able to interface with so many different industries here. You're not going to just be doing the same thing every single day for those project tasks, but it's any client may have any request, and you're constantly working with that client, trying to problem solve and come up with new solutions. So every day is pretty unique.
I like that, Reeves. It's in a consultancy is frankly a lot more fast-paced than working internally at an individual company, because you get to see, sorry, Hillary, but you get to see so many different business problems, so many different business models, and exposure to all of those problems and models. You really get a lot of experience very quickly in consulting.
Yeah, perfect. Which maybe leads us into our next question, unless Hillary, do you want to
Hillary
Wanna
wants to
jump
speak
in?
up first.
Well, I had to jump in.
Defend yourself after
I have
that
to
one.
defend my internal job, which I love. I mean, admittedly, yes, I'm sure it's very exciting to work with clients directly. And I'm sure that does bring a different approach to development to the table with your team. I do love working internally though. You know, I think it takes a different kind of developer, which is great. It works really well for our team, but basically, you know, the other side of this, working internally, we do work with every department. Even tech consulting sends automation ideas to the internal side, which is so exciting and so interesting to see. But what we get is a project that, you know, we were basically handed the requirements and asked, is this possible? Can it be done? And, you know, can you do it? And I think it's more of a puzzle that we're handed instead of working with a client to tailor make the best solution and then go back and make it, you know, basically just handed this problem and we need to fix it and then implement it. So it's different to work internally. I agree. We're not, you know, hands-on with a client, but in some ways I really enjoy that. I think it's a nice way to approach the problem, solve the problem, send it back, make sure it's exactly what they want, and then implement, and it goes straight to production. So not the worst, Ryan, but different.
Was in no way a bag on working internally.
No.
There are a lot of parallels in the projects that we do.
I think so.
Good. Do you guys want to go over maybe the benefits of being an intern at Eide Bailly? I know a lot of you mentioned that there is, you know, a ramp up period, but you really get some hands-on experience. There are no coffee runs. Maybe Courtney, you can start since you started as an intern. And you can probably just review the same things you said. Your favorite part is being client facing at the end of the first week.
Yeah. So I wasn't necessarily like in client meetings by the end of the first week, but I was getting handed tasks that were for a client project, which was really cool. And I really appreciated because I was doing obviously some training on the side, but it was nice to see, oh, this training that I'm doing is going right into the project that I'm working on. So it was nice to see that that work that I was doing was meaningful and that clients really appreciated it. So yeah, there were no coffee runs or anything like that. I was kept very busy in my internship and I learned a lot. And I had a really good support system as well. So even if there were things that I didn't know, that's one thing about being an intern is that you get access to pretty much everyone, like all of the partners and senior managers and directors. They're all always willing to help. And so I had a really good support system while I was learning as well. So even though the ramp up period can be a little hard, you'll be able to make it through.
Okay. If anyone else has something to add, they can. Otherwise, we can jump to the next question too.
You know, I would share, I think that one of the key things that's really important to us here at Eide Bailly is that consulting focus. So we really want to get everybody good experience and good opportunity to actually interact with clients and share. You know, I've had a lot of people who have come in as interns and stuck around for a couple of years as consultants, and you know, we'd love for everybody to stick around for forever. But you know, I've got quite a few people that I keep in touch with still who have been interns, and they've really been able to springboard their career much further ahead than if they were out there doing those coffee runs and other things as interns. Just that experience, that perspective, the certifications, just the reps that you get. You know, it really is. You know, in tech consulting anyway, we like to think of ourselves more as a well-funded startup than necessarily a 100-year-old accounting firm, right? We have a lot of support. I think, you know, Courtney really hit the nail on the head. Not only do we have tons of support for, you know, our team members, but we get tons of support from the firm as a whole in tech consulting, just to really help us be successful and to push us to grow and push the boundaries. So it's been a great experience. You know, and I think we strive to provide fantastic experiences for everybody who comes in the firm, whether they stick around or not. We want to see them succeed.
Yeah, I really like Noel, like you mentioned, the firm has a big focus on people and on finding good people and then making the experience for them such that they want to stay. But like you said, you know, some people do move on, but I personally am a testament to that because I started as an accountant and started in the tax department here at Eide Bailly on that accounting side, the 100-year-old accounting firm, but was able to move over to the tech consulting side of things and really forge a completely new path that was a much better fit for my interests and my capabilities. And so they've really showed me at Eide Bailly that they want to keep people that are high performers, that are really excellent people, and they prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see we have a question in the chat about, hey, would we accept community college students? And the answer is yes. We have you know, a good mix of team members from all sorts of different backgrounds. You know, some of them have graduate degrees. I've had and have other folks who come from non-traditional backgrounds. You know, whether it's kind of a, you know, dev boot camps or various other things like that that do not have a college degree. So we're just, like Ryan said, we're looking for high performers, people who are driven and who know their stuff. You know, you just have to have that knack for, especially in tech consulting, for technology and for, you know, being a consultant and communicating well across the board. So those are kind of the ground rules, right? You know, table stakes for you know, being considered here. But yeah, just come in hungry and be prepared to take on some real significant challenges quickly.
Yeah, we believe that with the right soft skills, the hard skills can be trained, right? So if you are a go-getter with great communication skills and you can think through problems and be independently go out and find answers and know how to work with others, you're going to be a great fit for the team, even if you don't have all of the technical skills mastered already.
And that's something that answers our next question, which is what skills do you personally need to be good at your job? Maybe answers a little bit of it. I know with conversations and all of the hiring managers and different people that I work with, they've all said we really value people who are great communicators, who are critical thinkers, who go out and solve problems themselves. Do you guys have any additional skills that you would say you really feel like you use in your day-to-day? Maybe they can be technical skills, they can also be soft skills, whichever you're wanting to share.
Yeah, I think you've covered the soft skills, you know, and they're incredibly important. You know, what would I say from a technical skill set, at least from my perspective here? And there's probably three key things that are really important for, I think, the vast majority of tech consulting, and then there's some specialization I think that matters in a couple of areas. But you know, I think you need to have a good understanding of the concept of object-oriented design, right? If you don't understand what an object is or encapsulations, things like that, you may struggle with some of those concepts, right? And this is not hard, right, to kind of wrap your head around, or you know, even find free courses and whatnot to learn a little bit about. But that's pretty core to everything that we do. Everything is going to be based on this type of software design. You need to understand how software projects work, right? So, you know, do you understand the difference between waterfall and agile, right? Do you know how, you know, software project management should be executed well? You know, those types of things, right? Those will really help you in your career. And then lastly, I think just the concept of relational databases. Everything that we do is dealing with data in some form or fashion, right? Whether you're doing data analytics, Salesforce, NetSuite, you know, RPA, we are manipulating data to a large degree. So those are kind of the core technical skills. You know, beyond that, you know, a good general business acumen, understanding how businesses work, because that's the kind of work that we do. But lastly, you know, especially for like our ERP or NetSuite, Sage, Microsoft practices, things like that, got to understand how, you know, finance works, right? How are we running the books? How are we doing accounting in some of these systems? But that, again, that generally applies to, you know, Salesforce as well, right? We need to understand how you sell something, right? How do we perform service? You know, so there's lots of kind of little nuances there, but those are those are key kind of technical skills that we're really hoping people come to the organization with some of that, right? You really should have a good fundamental understanding of these things. We will drive you towards some of the more specializations and other things that are appropriate for the job. But those are things that we're looking for in general, people who have high aptitude.
Yeah, would you guys be willing to share a time that you've seen any of the Eide Bailly values in practice at work? So those values are under the, here we go, let's share this. So these would be the values. So it would be impact, integrity, meaningful relationships, people, authenticity, culture, and trust.
Two that I would touch on here are people, just reiterating the point that I made earlier, that people are our greatest asset, especially here in consulting. I mean, the firm has some buildings and some equipment, but really the people are the greatest asset in a consultancy. And Eide Bailly has really shown that they are willing to invest in us, and they support us in our career, but also in life. I think compared to some of my other friends that have jobs elsewhere and other consulting firms or accounting firms, the work-life balance here is second to none. It has been one of my favorite things about working here at Eide Bailly. So people is a big one I've seen, and then trust, which kind of goes along with the people aspect of it. Our clients trust us to be experts and to act professionally, and we trust each other. And I've seen it in my own career. I have been given responsibilities when I wanted them far quicker than I thought would be possible. And so just that trust that's been shown to me by other employees and managers and leaders to go out and lead projects, and it's just been a great experience. So those are the two I'd touch on.
Yeah.
I have to echo Ryan a little bit. Ryan, I didn't realize we had such similar backgrounds, but I actually started in accounting as well. I was an auditor, and I started at Eide Bailly as an auditor and realized that was not the path for me. And I just had this incredible experience of meeting with our internal IT department and discussing with them what I had an interest in and what I brought to the table, and moved into IT that way. And I had some background in computer science. I had a degree, and there was so much opportunity of just, yes, find what you're passionate about and we'll find a place for you. And I really respect that. I think there's a lot of investment in the people at Eide Bailly. I think that if you think that you can do well at something and you show some value there, then they're going to let you pursue it, let you try it. They're going to pay for the education that you need to make it happen. So we were talking earlier about what technical skills you need. I think if you come to the table with the basics, you understand the basics of C#, you know what a CRM is, then at that point we can take you even further and we can put you where you're going to be most successful. I really love that about Eide Bailly.
Anyone else want to share one more?
I can. I would talk about the culture in Eide Bailly. It's truly the people that we work with become friends. It's at no point have I heard anyone try to tear down other people. We're constantly fostering this sense of community, that we all succeed as other people around us succeed as well.
Yeah, awesome. I think everything that everyone has shared from the Eide Bailly panel really exemplifies the values that we do hold true at Eide Bailly. And into our next question, what do you guys enjoy most about your career? What skills have you learned? What have you enjoyed learning on the job? Anything like that?
I think for me, kind of echoing what Ryan said about, at least on the consulting side, we are consultants first and developers second. I really love development, but I also enjoy having that client aspect of getting to meet with them and talk through the requirements and kind of plan together and do that architecture side. And I kind of like that there's that little bit of creativity and they say, here's our business problem. How can we best fix it? And then you listen to them and then you really think through what they need. And then you can architect these really creative designs and then you also get to implement them. So for me, it's kind of the best of both worlds because I get to be creative and have that people client focused look, but then also get to still do the development.
All right. What is something you're looking for when a student is interviewing for any of the positions? What's something we look for in Eide Bailly interns?
I would say that in the interviews that I have done, we do care about technical capabilities, but what I wanted to focus on is that we care more about how you think and how you approach problems and how it's those soft skills that we mentioned earlier. If you don't know the exact answer to some coding problem that we pose in an interview, you don't know exactly how to approach it, but you could tell me how you would solve it if you were in your day-to-day going about your business. You know, show me that you know how to Google something and that you would know how to go through and find a solution on your own, and show me that you're resourceful in your answers. Those go a long way.
I'd echo what Ryan said. The other kind of key things that I'm looking for when I'm conducting interviews is that that problem-solving mindset, right? That if somebody puts something out there, that we will find a solution for whatever the issue is. And again, combining that with some general business acumen, right? We have to solve business problems, and going back to kind of some of that culture and those other facets, right? We do a lot of different software systems. They're really cool. They do great things, but they're not really valuable if the people who have to use them can't, right? If they can't adopt the system, if they can't, affect change in their jobs and things like that. And so you've got to be really thoughtful, not only about, hey, this really incredibly complex technology could solve all your problems, but if I'm working with, a construction company and they've never used this type of technology in their day-to-day operations, right? That may not be a great solution. We may want to go and do some, robotic process automation or other things, that might be a little less complex, a little more up their alley for what they're doing. And, if that incredibly complex, really cool software is incredibly expensive, a lot of organizations may say, hey, that's great, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. So again, that problem solving and working through real world constraints from a business perspective, from a user perspective, all of those kind of things are really critical. And I think the key thing also that I'm looking for is we work together as teams. We're here to be consultants, and people don't hire Noel or Ryan or Courtney or whomever, right? They hire Eide Bailly. So they want us to go find solutions quickly. They want us to find good solutions. And so it's okay to ask your neighbor, right? It's okay to, what would be considered cheating in school, right? That's not how this works in the real world, right? We want an answer. We want a good answer. And, if you can take what somebody else has done and improve upon it, perfect, right? Let's do that. Let's do it right and deliver that quickly to the client. So.
Yeah, I'd say along those same lines, I don't know is really an acceptable answer, but phrased in a different light. So a client asks you something, I don't know, is might come off as incompetent, but what we really are is a team, like Noel said. So maybe not, I don't know, but I have a great team of people that can get us that answer. Let me connect with them and we can get you an answer on that. Knowing how to approach problems like that when you don't know the answer is also a key skill.
On the
Yeah,
internal side, oh, sorry, no, keep going.
I was just going to say, we joke that being a good consultant is just being able to say, I don't know about 1,000 different ways so that you don't lose trust as you do it. So sorry, Hillary, go ahead.
No, you're just fine. I was gonna say on the internal side, we're a little bit different because we don't have that consulting piece to this job. We don't have the sales piece. And so, you know, obviously we're still a team and we want people who are going to work great in this team, but the pressure to communicate with clients isn't there. So if you feel like, you know, you're looking for an internship that's very heavily development focused, you know, what we are specifically looking for in our interviews for these positions is someone who can say, this is the education that I've gotten on C#, or this is the badge that I've earned on Trailhead looking at Apex, or, you know, whatever it is that you've done, show us some education that we can then say, all right, you're willing to learn, you're willing to go out and do the studying, you're a problem solver, and we can forward that and we can keep going with that. But that being said, the need to want to or the ability to communicate with clients, not everyone has that, and that's totally fine. Come work with our team, have an excellent environment of support, have an excellent environment of, you know, let us help you answer your questions, let us help you solve this problem, finish this project, learn, grow as a person, grow as a developer, but not have to sell. So that's the internal option.
Different worlds, but the best of them.
Yeah.
Is there anything that students can do or be doing on their own to become more hireable? So can they be going out and getting certifications? Is there anything that you guys would like to see someone have on their resume that might make them more hireable?
To continue with my thought, obviously, I mean, you're an intern. There's no pressure to come with a master's degree. There's no pressure to come as a full stack developer. That's not what we're looking for. We want someone who, you know, obviously has the initiative to go and do a course online. You can go and do some free course. You can watch a YouTube video. You can do something, earn a badge, get a certificate, and come prepared during your interview to tell us about that. You know, take a course in school, tell us about a project that you've done, and tell us what your favorite part of that was. And I think that just shows the initiative. I mean, obviously the projects that you'll be working on at work are going to be such a larger scale than at school. So show us how you understood your project at school, and then we can scale that and scale you to fit the position.
Yeah, I would further that to say, you know, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, I would put in some work beforehand and do the research on the positions and the technologies that you are interviewing for. If you are looking at a Salesforce internship, go on and do some trailheads and learn some of the key skills so that you can talk adequately to those systems and technologies. That will give you a much better leg up over the other applicants. If you can come to the table with a certification already, that will definitely set you apart from the other applicants.
Yeah, I just echo that. Get in there. You know, most of these programs and the different technologies that we do are generally pretty freely available to learn some things about. You know, put a little time and make sure that you're interested in doing it. I've had a lot of applicants come in and say, hey, I think I'm interested in this. I don't know much about it, you know, and my advice to them, even during the interview and after the interview process, is, hey, go do, like Ryan said, for Salesforce Trailhead. You know, go actually get your hands on some of this software and see what's available, see what it's all about, and you know, come back to me in a week and tell me you're passionate about it, and then, you know, we'll have a good discussion. But you know what, if you go and you do that and you just, you know, I don't want to deal with salespeople, or I don't want to deal with customer service, you know, dealing with finance and inventory management and other things, that's more up my alley. Great, you know, let's team you up with the NetSuite team instead of the Salesforce team, right? You know, hey, I'm really passionate about, you know, reporting and data science and other stuff. Great, we've got a data analytics team. Let's put you there, right? But yeah, get in there and say, hey, I could be passionate about this. You're going to be a consultant. You've got to have an opinion when you get into this. So it'd be good to start forming one reasonably quickly.
I do see a question in the chat, and the question is that a student will be graduating in May of 2023, looking for full-time openings. We're always hiring at Eide Bailly. A great way to get a full-time opportunity is through an internship. So we definitely have a ton of internships this spring that we'll go over at the end of this call, as well as I will leave information on how to apply to any of those. But we are always hiring, and we are always up to date with our job postings on our website at eidebailly.com/careers. Next question we can jump into is, what is the most interesting project you've worked on in the past year or two?
I'll start with one that I thought was really cool. So everybody's heard of the Grammys. We did a major project for them using Salesforce to revamp a lot of their customer or their member experience opportunities. So we've had a great time interacting with a lot of really wonderful folks over there. But yeah, that was a fun project because they've been doing stuff with systems that you know, they had put together over the last 20 years or so, and then really wanted to enhance that experience. You know, it was really cool just to sit down and look and say, hey, you know, how do we deal with all these people who make all this great music? You know, and it's not just the major artists that you hear about. Sure, there's lots of them, but they support a massive community of producers and engineers and, you know, all sorts of different kinds of people that you don't see in that award show. And so that's been really fun to learn more about and really help them establish their relationships more strongly with their members. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I actually got to work on that project as well. And part of it was working on their website that they use with their members. And so Salesforce does have some websites that you can do. So if web development is something that you're interested in, that's also something that you can work on as well. But I would agree, that's probably the coolest project I've worked on in the past year.
I have a cool one that was, it's really fun. And what I do is we build automations for companies that is really fun to see when you have somebody that has been doing some monotonous data entry, copy pasting into some website, and you automate it for them, and you get to show this thing to them, and they see the mouse moving around on the screen and fields being filled out. It's typing, it's basically doing their job for them, and you see their face light up. It is so rewarding. So there was a healthcare provider that provides services to disabled individuals that they have to submit all of their Medicaid claims through these state portals. So they had 8 or 9 people that were submitting. They just had these giant spreadsheets of hundreds of patients that they had to submit claims for one by one. So they were opening up a state portal, and you can imagine, type in their social, type in their name, type in what services, you know, and it's for hundreds of people is really quite mind-numbing. So we got to go in and revamp this entire process for 6 of the different states that they work in and automate all of it. So all they do is drop a spreadsheet in a folder, and it does everything for them. So getting to show that to those individuals that now have so much more time available to go do higher value add things is a lot of fun. It's really rewarding.
I worked on a project recently that I also, we did some automation integrations. We built out an API, and we had a bot that would interface with a state website for filing 1099, so a tax document. And we were able to process like 30,000 1099s in just a couple of days, freed up a lot of our admin time. And, one of the biggest joys I get from my job is seeing people get promoted when we take this off their plate. So they do some monotonous work. It takes all of their time. And as soon as we automate it, we build these processes and, you know, enable them to do more creative work. We see the value that they can add to the firm, and I see them get promoted, and I see them get to explore more of what makes them really happy and love their job. So that's my favorite part of my job.
Awesome. I know some of you guys have already shared about how you got your career in tech, or what experiences have led you there. If anyone else would like to share, or maybe Ryan and Hillary, even if you want to build upon your previous answer, that would be great as well.
So I'll talk about my path to Eide Bailly. It was very non-traditional. I got an undergraduate degree in Spanish. It's incredibly useful when you're working with technology. But you know, I went and I had always worked kind of with technology and various things like that. And so, you know, I was doing marketing, and that's what kind of led me to Salesforce. I needed a way to really report on the success that we were having and be able to prove, you know, overall business results that we were working on there. And that led me to some additional schooling and, you know, ultimately just that business experience of thinking, you know, deeply about, hey, how do I really drive sales and marketing? How do I build systems to make this work and break down those processes into their component parts? You know, that was a big piece of what ultimately led me to work with a company called Chiasma doing Salesforce consulting, which then got acquired by Eide Bailly. And so it's been a fantastic journey. But what I would say, you know, kind of like, you know, to Ryan's point, you know, sometimes we meander for a few things and we think, hey, this sounds really cool, I'll do that, and then it's not as cool as you thought it was. But it leads you to other things. And so as you get experience, and, you know, I think an internship is a great way to, you know, test some of those thoughts out, right? Find those things that you're really passionate about, find the things that you think are really cool, but also have that business impact, especially if you know, think you want to get into consulting and whatnot, and pursue those. Just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper, right? You know, when I went and worked on some graduate work, you know, I realized that a lot of my solutions were information systems based, and particularly Salesforce based. And so that's really what led me to this. And it took me a lot longer than an internship to figure that out. But you know, I think it's worth kind of diving into. And then, you know, once you find an organization that really works well for you and that provides some great experiences and really meshes, I'd say, you know, buck that kind of conventional wisdom that might teach you in school that you need to go bounce around from job to job to get those major promotions, but find a good place and put some roots down and really work towards, you know, leadership opportunities and whatnot. And I think you'll find a lot more fulfillment out of your career instead of trying to move every 2-3 years. So.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's something that everyone has said that they really value about Eide Bailly is if you're not happy in one department, they'll move you to another or find a different place within the organization to help the firm as a whole. And then we'll maybe end this with what is one piece of advice you would give to a student who wants to work in your department?
Apply.
There we go. Perfect.
Just do it.
That's exactly what we wanted to hear. Now I will just share my screen again here. You guys can see our open positions for technology consulting. So these are both summer and spring. There is data analytics is offering a fall internship as well. That is the only one that is offering a fall internship. And there is a QR code at the bottom, but it will be on the next page as well here. And there. So yeah, we just wanted to thank everyone for connecting with us today and taking time out of your Friday afternoon to sit and listen to us at Eide Bailly. And I also really want to thank our staff from Eide Bailly. I know their schedules are busy, so they made time to be here to talk about all things technology consulting, and we are so grateful. So if you guys want to reach out to me through email, I have my email on there as well. If you have any questions about applying or anything like that, I will be your contact. We hope that we get to meet with you guys again during our CodePath sessions, the 12th through the 14th. We have every hour on the hour through the 12th through the 14th. So I will be in there, as well as some of the people in this panel and other people in technology consulting. We'll also be there to talk through internships. And if you'd like to apply to any of our internships, there is a QR code as well as our website on the screen now. But other than that, we just want to thank everyone for coming along with us, and we hope you enjoy maybe a long weekend for most of us.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks so much, team. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.